now. The number one reason why people cheat, because your partner don't like you no more. I shouldn't be laughing like this, so let's get to it. So I posed this question on social media recently because I think the topic and the conversation around cheating is always an interesting one. And it's one that's going to forever be one that we talk about because people are unfortunately going to forever do it. It is something that we cannot deny. It is something that is not going away. And it is something that is just a part of life in some capacities. I don't care how hard you try to avoid it, how hard you try to ignore it. At some point in your life, whether you are a little one or a big one, you've experienced some form of cheating from a partner, or you might have been a cheater. That's a whole nother conversation. But I wanted to pose the question to social media to ask the people, like, why do you guys think people cheat? Like, what's the number one reason why you think people cheat? Because it has to be a reason why people do anything. So I got a lot of different responses back. I got revenge. I got, like basically they cheated on me. I cheated back. I got, they thought that they could get away with it. I got, they're narcissists. I got, they're bored with the relationship. I got, it was no longer a lack of commitment. Sometimes they never committed in the first place. It's another conversation. But I got a lot of things. And because this channel is all about creating happy and healthy relationships, I figured, why not talk about it and tell you guys what the number one reason is that people cheat. I want you guys to think about it. If you had to tell me, I want you to drop down in the comments and let me know, why do you think people cheat? If you've ever cheated, be honest, God is watching. If you've ever cheated, why did you cheat? If you've ever been cheated on, what reason or excuse did the person give you as to why they cheated? Because, as I said before, unfortunately, we've all been there before. So I want to tell you guys, number one, the number one reason why people cheat is because your partner don't like you no more. So, as I said in the beginning, it's not funny at all. But it is because your partner is no longer attracted to you for some reason or another, and that has caused their attention to veer elsewhere, and in return, they cheat. So, the end, gotta go. No, it's bigger than that. So, yes, the partner doesn't like you right now. You're not attractive to them right now. They really don't want you right now. And that could be for a number of reasons, some that I just named. But we're going to get into some of those reasons. And we're going to talk about how they actually connect back to the part of how your partner just don't like you no more. So at the end of this, what we got to get into is you got to make sure you're in a relationship with somebody that actually likes you. When somebody loves you back, you got to make sure you're in a relationship with somebody who's going to like you at all times, through the good, the bad, and the ugly. No matter what you go through, their like for you, their love for you, it's not going to waver to the point where it makes them look elsewhere. So number one, somebody said boredom. Now that could be one. I think during the pandemic in 2019, 2020, we saw a lot of people in a lot of entanglements and a lot of situations and a lot of relationships that had been in the house. They was in the house bored in the house, and had never had to be in the house that much. So they found that when they were in the house, they did not like the person that they were looking at when they had to be there for a continuous amount of time. So that was one thing. But beyond that, we know, and you all know somebody that is in a relationship where somebody in that relationship is bored. So boredom can come for a lot of reasons. It's not about they woke up one day and it was just like, oh, you're a boring person. But you have to be intentional in your relationships. Like, are you getting out doing things? Are you exploring things? Are you having conversations? Are you in therapy to make sure that things are good? Are you keeping things spicy? Are you trying to spice it up in the bedroom and outside the bedroom? In a relationship, you have to understand, especially if you're in a long-term relationship or a marriage, you are going to be there for, if not the rest of your life, but for a very long time. And we get that there are going to be ebbs and flows in relationships. Relationships are not going to stay exactly the same. However, throughout the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, the ins and outs of a relationship, you are responsible for making sure that you Keep your partner's interests beyond just showing up. Now, we know that you all have those beautiful and those handsome faces, and we all think that that should be enough. But in reality, it's actually not. So it's really up to both sides. In this conversation, I'm not talking about just the men or just the women. I'm talking about us both, making sure that we don't get bored in a relationship and whatever that looks like, because everybody likes to do different things. Everybody enjoys different things. But if you find that you are in a situation where you want to go out, your partner don't want to go out, you want to try something new in the bedroom, your partner don't want to try something new in the bedroom, your wife done had the same hairstyle since 1986 and you tired of looking at it, or your Negro still wearing Nautica, they still open, and you tired of looking at it, you know, that's a petty one. But overall, there are things that you can do to spice up a relationship and to keep it interesting, and it is up to both parties to do so. Because again, in everything I'm going to talk about, I am not saying that it is right, but what I am saying is that it happens. So if you are in a relationship and you are making your partner or bored of you, or you're bored of your partner, and somebody comes along, y'all know the beginning of everything is always fun. Them first 2 weeks be the most fun you've had in your life in a long time. So somebody else comes along and they look like a shiny new toy. Guess what? That boredom is going to make them veer elsewhere, look at that other person, that shiny new thing, and then guess what? They don't like you right now as much as they like that person. So it goes back to your partner don't like you. So number one, don't let them get bored. That's a huge part of it, if that's one. And there are a lot of reasons why people cheat. Not going to go into all of them, just going to go into a few to bring it back home. Got to make sure your partner always like you. So the next thing, lack of sex. Now we know that this is very real. And what I want to say about this is, many times when a person has gotten to a space, and I would say it's mainly women, that I think that's fair to say that women are the ones that mainly withhold sex. If I'm wrong about that, somebody correct me. I'm with you when you're right, so correct me if you know something else. But I think that women are mainly the ones that withhold sex. Now, most of the time, if we are withholding sex, and I'm going to think about it from a perspective of a woman, because I'm a woman, it's probably because my partner has done something that I'm not a fan of, has done something that I'm upset about, has done something or is not doing something that I've asked them to do, and I am withholding sex as a form of punishment. And that is never, ever, ever the way to go. Never should you be withholding sex as a form of punishment. So that says bring it back. We need to be having conversations around what am I really mad about? Holding the puss hostage ain't really what I'm mad about, because in some instances, not everybody, you know, to give it up, it ain't gonna be that long, sis. I mean, 10 minutes, you know. I ain't speaking from experience. I'm just speaking from what I've been told. So that said, if it's a situation where your partner is not doing something around the house, not doing something with the kids, not taking care of you, maybe ain't taking care of you in the bedroom the way that you need to be taken care of, and vice versa, we don't want to withhold sex, because when we withhold sex, we have to think. It's very easy to say, if you don't want to have sex and the man, say if it's the woman is withholding sex and the man is mad about it, it's very easy to say, well, just leave the relationship if you think that you're going to go out and cheat. Well, we know 99% of the time, there are situations that happen in relationships where people should just leave. That would be the easy thing to do verbally. That's one of those things that is much easier said than done, because we know in majority of instances, people don't just up and leave. People don't leave a lot of times when they definitely need to leave. When they are getting cheated on, when unfortunately they're getting abused mentally, physically, emotionally, when somebody's stealing from us, a lot of instances that come up where people need to leave a situation and they don't leave the situation. So let's just be real in that instance. But if we get to the place where there is someone holding out on sex, it is up to us to tap into what is really going on, to have that conversation, to figure out why that sex is being withheld. Because we have a situation, I'll just say man or woman, and you think that you're going to go 6 months and not give up the puss or the peen, and somebody is going to twirl in front of that married person, because, or non-married, somebody's going to twirl in front of that person. And there's always somebody out there that's willing to cheat with the person. You don't know what they're being told, but we're not getting into that right now. Just know it's always somebody else willing to twirl in front of that person and activate that puss or that ping, and they are going to take that opportunity eventually. I'm not saying the first time, I'm not saying the second time, I don't know what time, but if you think that you're gonna go 6, 7, 8 months and not give up the puss or the ping, and somebody else gonna twirl in front of that person and they not gonna jump out the window and eventually tackle that person. I got a bridge in Brooklyn. I want to sell you, because that's what's going to happen. And if you are withholding sex, guess what? Your partner not going to like you right now. And they going to like that other person. And then they going to go over there. So again, they go back to, guess what? You got to make sure your partner actually like you all the time. And again, let's be clear. I'm not saying every second of every day you and your partner going to be madly in love. But y'all get what I'm saying overall gist. Don't make your partner start like, really like, I don't like her no more. Well, you know, when you start, you eat and it's annoying. You blink your eyes and I can hear you blinking and it's annoying, you know. So that's a whole nother story. But the next thing is, when people say people are either not narcissists or they have narcissistic traits. And I'll say this, if you have not looked at the episode, if you don't watch the Red Table Talk, may especially not watch it now, I don't know, but I would say go to the Red Table Talk Facebook page or wherever else you can view it. But there was an episode, I think in their first season, where there was a doctor that came on that talked about narcissism and how you cannot change a narcissist. And it was a very powerful and effective and easy to understand episode. And I recommend that episode because it can help you really understand how narcissism works, because it is another buzzword I think that is thrown around. And I've heard some of my therapist friends say, you know, a lot of times people may have narcissistic traits. They may not actually be narcissists, but they're called a narcissist. So I'll say if a person is a narcissist or has narcissistic traits, those people are definitely going to be cheaters. And if they aren't cheaters, they're gaslighters or manipulators. And it's nothing that you can do to fix that in a relationship. So I'm not even going to say a lot about that. I'll just say if you find that you're in a lane with a narcissist or someone who has narcissistic traits or someone very close to it, and they are cheating on you, of course they don't like you because they only like themselves. So that's a situation that you need to dig into. Go to the podcast, listen to a couple of episodes, and just recognize that that ain't it. You need to get out. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Go straight to jail, because you know, they are going to forever have their attention veering elsewhere. And that's all I got to say about that. So this last one I'm going to talk about is going to be one that it's always interesting to me. I'll just say that. And people say that the last one is that basically all men are dogs. How y'all feel about that one? So I don't think, I'll say this, and this may not age very well, but I don't think that all men are dogs. Like, I think that's the equivalent of kind of saying that all women are like gold diggers or all women are hoes. And we know that's not true. I mean, I don't know. What is a hoe these days? I think you could be sexually free. We kind of need to probably throw that term away in the trash. But we'll just stick with all women are gold diggers or something worse. We know that's not true. Just like, so I say all men are not dogs. But what I do say to that is, if you find... okay, so let me back up. I think that you have to look at things from a perspective of where a man is in his life. So I think that if you're talking, there are going to be some men in this world who have never cheated. Honestly, hand to God, they telling the truth. They've never cheated. And then there are going to be some men that if you would have caught them in their 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, whatever, cheating might have been on the table. And then you may meet somebody that's like 35 plus and they know now they have a vision clearly of what they want in a relationship, what they want long term, and cheating is something that is, you know, does not align with who they are as a person. You know, they have integrity now, and that's something they just wouldn't do. So I think when it comes down to, I can't say all men are dogs. I think that, you know, there are some dogs out there, just like there are some women that are some dogs. But I think we have to make sure that we look at the place that and stage that a man is in his life to see what he has the capacity to provide for you. And Iyanla used to always say this on her show, you know, how does she put it? It was something along the lines of like, you can ask for what you want, but you can't force a person to give that to you. So if you know that you are in a place in your life where you're looking for relationship stability and you're looking for love and you want to be married and you happen to encounter somebody that is, say they are 35, but they aren't looking for the same thing, we can't force them into that. And unfortunately, sometimes we do try to force them into that. And then that's when we wind up in a situation where this person is not faithful to us, even though sometimes they haven't even committed to a relationship. Sometimes they have, but sometimes they commit due to pressure, other things, not making excuses, but that's kind of how it goes. And they wind up in this relationship and they cheat because they don't like just you. They like other people too. And then they get the rap for all men being dogs. So I think it's never fair or safe to lump all men or all women into anything. So I don't think that's the case. But if somebody does believe innately that just all men are dogs or all men are going to cheat, I think that's something you need to tap into. You probably need to get into some therapy to work through the hurt that has been caused to you by other men so that you can move past that. And if you do wind up in a situation with a man that is innately a dog, then of course he doesn't like you. He likes you and you and you and you. So as we go back and we think about it, if you're in a relationship and your partner's bored and somebody comes along that's a little bit more fun, his like for you is going to lessen and his like for them is going to heighten. If you're in a relationship and the sex is wavering for whatever reason, his like for you is going to lessen. His like for that puss or peen, his or her that comes along, is going to heighten. If you're in a situation with a narcissist or someone that has narcissistic traits, ain't nothing you can do about that. You just need to escape, find out, get some tools, get some resources, listen to every episode of the podcast, try to get out of there fast, my brothers and sisters. And the last one, if you think that a person is innately a dog, you have to make sure you do your due diligence the best that you can to try to not land in a space with somebody that that is not ready to like just you, and wants to like and wants to like other people, and that's okay. It's all. And also, I'll say this: sometimes we do our due diligence, and we have frauds, and we have liars, and we have scammers, and we do our due diligence, and we still wind up at the wrong place at the wrong time. Nothing wrong with you. It's just that was not your person. So, all of that said, at the end of the day, make sure that you are partnered with somebody that actually likes you and wants to be with you. And that way, your chances of getting cheated on will lessen. But the other side of that is make sure you're with somebody that wants to withstand the test of time with you, understanding that you're going to go through hard times, you're going to go through tough times, you're going to go through fun and happy times. There are going to be a lot of different times that happen in a relationship with longevity or a marriage with longevity. And you have to be with somebody that's always going to like you no matter what. So hold that in your heart. Thank you guys for watching today's episode. And I'm signing off. Yours truly, Shanna Montana.